Most people spend their lives chasing things that do not truly matter, only realizing the truth when it is far too late. But the Stoics did not wait for old age to discover wisdom. They trained themselves to think differently, to speak differently, and most importantly, to respond differently to life. Today, we explore powerful phrases that can transform how you see the world and help you reclaim your peace, your focus, and your strength. The first phrase is simple but powerful. It is not my business. In a world flooded with information, opinions, and endless distractions, people feel the need to engage with everything. We are drawn into arguments, judgments, and problems that do not belong to us. This constant involvement drains our energy and clouds our mind. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that much of our suffering comes from trying to control what is outside our control. When you say, "It is not my business," you are not being indifferent. You are being disciplined. You are choosing to protect your mental space. Imagine hearing someone criticize you behind your back. You could spend hours worrying about it, trying to change their opinion or feeling hurt. But their judgment comes from their own perspective, their own experiences, and their own limitations. It is not yours to control. When you accept this, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. The second phrase shifts how you face difficulty. I will use this. Most people, when faced with setbacks, ask why this is happening to them. This question creates a victim mindset. It places blame on circumstances and removes personal power. The Stoic approach is different. It treats every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote that obstacles are not barriers, but paths forward. When you say, "I will use this," you take control of the situation. A failure becomes a lesson. A difficult person becomes a test of patience. Even pain becomes a teacher. This phrase transforms adversity into advantage. Instead of being pushed around by life, you begin shaping it. The third phrase protects you from the trap of ego. I am still a student. Many people want to appear knowledgeable, confident, and always correct. But this mindset stops growth. The moment you believe you know everything, you stop learning. Stoicism encourages humility. It reminds us that knowledge is endless and that we are always in the process of becoming. When you say, "I am still a student," you open yourself to learning. Criticism no longer feels like an attack. It becomes information. You listen, reflect, and improve. This mindset keeps your thinking flexible and your perspective fresh. It allows you to grow in every situation, even difficult ones. The fourth phrase brings clarity to your actions. Is this necessary? Look closely at your daily routine. How much of what you do truly matters? People fill their time with distractions, unnecessary conversations, and endless scrolling. They waste energy on things that add no value to their life. Marcus Aurelius suggested that we question our actions constantly. When you ask, "Is this necessary?" you begin to remove the excess. You focus only on what is meaningful. Before entering an argument, pause and ask this question. Before spending money to impress others, ask it again. This simple habit brings focus, clarity, and purpose into your life. The fifth phrase creates inner peace. I do not have to have an opinion on this. Many people feel pressure to judge everything they see. They react instantly, forming opinions about situations that do not affect them. This constant judgment creates mental noise. Stoicism teaches that not everything deserves your attention or reaction. When you release the need to have an opinion on everything, your mind becomes quieter. You observe without reacting. You allow things to exist without attaching yourself to them. This creates a sense of calm that is rare in a reactive world. The sixth phrase reminds you of the present. This moment is enough. People often live in the past or worry about the future. They replay mistakes or imagine problems that have not yet happened. This steals their attention from the only moment that truly exists. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of the present. When you say, "This moment is enough," you ground yourself. You focus on what you can do now. You appreciate what you have instead of chasing what you lack. This brings stability and clarity to your mind. The seventh phrase strengthens your character. I will act with virtue. Stoicism teaches that the only true good is virtue. This means acting with honesty, courage, discipline, and fairness. External success is uncertain, but your character is within your control. When you choose to act with virtue, you align your actions with your values. You do what is right, regardless of the outcome. This creates a sense of integrity that cannot be shaken by external events. These phrases are not just words, they are tools. They shape how you think, how you respond, and how you live. By repeating them, you begin to train your mind. You move from reaction to intention. You stop being controlled by circumstances and start controlling your response to them. Take a moment to reflect on your own thoughts. How often do you involve yourself in things that do not matter? How often do you react without thinking? How often do you let external events disturb your peace? These phrases offer a different way, a calmer way, a stronger way. The Stoics understood something that many people forget. Peace does not come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling yourself. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you change the way you experience life. And when you change your experience, you change your destiny. We often label events as bad, unfair, or terrible, reacting instantly without questioning our own judgment. But the Stoics believed something radically different. They taught that events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation that creates suffering. The moment you assign a label, you give the event power over your emotions. Without that label, the event simply exists. Imagine you are stuck in traffic. One person curses, grows impatient, and lets frustration take control. Another simply observes the situation and says, I do not have to have an opinion on this. You recognize that your emotional energy is limited, and you choose not to waste it on things that do not affect your character. This understanding changes everything. You begin to realize that most disturbances in your life are self-created. They are born from judgment, expectation, and resistance. When you remove those elements, what remains is simply reality. And reality, on its own, is often far less painful than the story we attach to it. This leads us to the sixth phrase, a powerful declaration of presence. This is enough. We live in a culture that constantly demands more. We are conditioned to believe that happiness lies somewhere in the future, just beyond the next achievement. But this belief keeps us in a constant state of dissatisfaction. The Stoics warned against this endless craving. Seneca once said that the man who desires more is truly poor, no matter how much he has. When you say this is enough, you break free from that cycle. You stop chasing and start appreciating. You find value in simple moments. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a moment of stillness. These are not insignificant experiences. They are the foundation of a fulfilled life. By embracing enough, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. You realize that contentment is not something you earn in the future. It is something you choose in the present. This does not mean you stop growing or striving. It means your happiness is no longer dependent on what you do not have. The seventh and final phrase brings clarity like nothing else. I am mortal. This idea, known in Stoicism as memento mori, is not meant to create fear. They postpone their goals, delay difficult conversations, and hold on to resentment, believing there will always be more time. But when you truly accept your mortality, your perspective shifts instantly. You realize that time is not guaranteed. Every moment becomes more vivid. You stop worrying about small embarrassments. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin to act with urgency, with purpose, and with intention. Saying I am mortal is not about focusing on death. It is about valuing life. It reminds you that this moment is temporary, and therefore precious. It encourages you to speak honestly, to act kindly, and to pursue what truly matters without delay. So how do you apply these ideas in your daily life? It begins with awareness. and repetition. Choose one phrase and commit to practicing it throughout your day. Let it guide your reactions and shape your perspective. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself it is not my business. Focus only on what you can control. When faced with difficulty, say, I will use this and turn challenges into opportunities for growth. When your ego rises, repeat, I am still a student, and stay open to learning. When your time is being wasted, ask, is this necessary, and remove what does not matter. When your mind begins to judge everything, say, I do not have to have an opinion on this, and return to calm observation. When you feel dissatisfaction, remind yourself this is enough and reconnect with gratitude. And when you begin to forget the value of time, say, I am mortal, and remember that your days are limited. These phrases are not just words. They are tools for transformation. They anchor you in moments of chaos. They guide you when your emotions try to take control. They remind you of what truly matters. The Stoics did not write these ideas for comfort. They practiced them in real life, in hardship, in uncertainty, and in moments of great pressure. These principles are not theoretical. They are practical. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the soul becomes colored by the thoughts it repeatedly holds. If your thoughts are filled with clarity, discipline, and acceptance, your inner world becomes stable and strong. But if your thoughts are filled with fear, comparison, and endless desire, your mind becomes restless and fragile. You are the one choosing those thoughts. You are shaping your internal world with every phrase you repeat. So take a moment to reflect. Which of these ideas resonated with you the most? Which phrase do you need right now? The answer to that question reveals where your growth begins. Life is short, and it is far too valuable to spend it in unnecessary conflict or mental chaos. You do not need to wait years to become wise. You can begin now. Choose your words carefully. Choose your perspective intentionally. Build a mindset that cannot be shaken by external events. Because in the end, your greatest power is not over the world around you, it is over the way you choose to see it.